Well, when do I get to tell my story?
You want to tell it now?
No, I won't tell it now,
This
but I
is-
mean...
You're at home with us. The whole concept of the Accidental Talmudish show is that you're at home with us. Now,
So this is a story that comes from Manis Friedman. He's a great, great rabbi, very well known around the world. I think he might be Chabad, I'm not sure. But he travels all over the world giving inspirational talks. And this is something that happened a few years ago. So Rabbi Friedman was traveling from Canada to Argentina to give a talk. And he had to take 4 different planes. There was delays. The seats were uncomfortable. He didn't sleep at all. He finally landed in Argentina. All he wanted to do was get to his hotel room and take a nap. And so a man from the synagogue where he was speaking came to pick him up from the airport. They got in the car, and the man said, "Oh, Rabbi, we just have to make a pit stop on the way to the hotel." He said, "There's a woman in our community who lost her 19-year-old son a few months ago. He was in a car, he was on his way home for Rosh Hashanah, and he was in a car accident. And the 3 other kids in the car survived, and he was killed. And since then, this woman has been deeply, deeply depressed. She hasn't left the house. She has no will to live." And the man said to Rabbi Friedman, "We were hoping that you could talk to her, and we told her you're coming." And so Rabbi Friedman's reaction was annoyance to the point of anger. Why couldn't they have asked me? He was absolutely fatigued. The last thing that he had the energy to do was probably one of the most difficult things that any rabbi or any clergy is asked to do, which is to comfort a bereaved parent. He wasn't in the mood, he didn't have the energy, and they didn't even ask him. But she was expecting him, so he had no choice. So they went over to the woman's house. They go inside. It's dark. She's sitting there. She didn't look alive. Her face was gray. Her hair was greasy. You could see that this was somebody that had no will to live. So Rabbi Friedman sat down by her and he said, "Tell me about your son." So she told him that her son was kind. He was smart. He was generous. He was a really special and exceptional young man. And so Rabbi Friedman said, "Wow, what an amazing kid. And to think, you had him for 19 years. And the woman didn't like that remark, but he barreled forward. He said, "Imagine if God had come to you in advance and he had said, 'I'm looking for somebody to be the mother of a really amazing kid for 19 years. Would you agree to be his mother?' What would you say?" And Rabbi Friedman was sure that she would say yes, but instead she said, "Absolutely not." So he was kind of taken aback. He didn't really know what to say at that point, so he just blurted out the first thing that came into his mind. He said, "Well, it's a good thing God didn't ask you." And at that moment, this woman started crying. Not crying, sobbing, convulsive sobs. This was the first time she had cried since her son died. And she cried, and she cried, and she cried. And Rabbi Friedman just sat there with her for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, she stopped crying. She dried her eyes. And he could see that there was something significant had changed. There was a light in her eyes. She was back among the living. She had somehow gotten the strength to move forward. And he said that in 50 years of counseling thousands of people, this was the most powerful experience he had ever had. So they leave, and in the car on the way to the hotel, he reflected at how angry he had been that he hadn't been asked if he would go talk to her. And he realized that if he had been asked, he would have said, "Absolutely not." And that's why they didn't ask him. And if he had said no and he hadn't gone, he would have missed the opportunity to help her and to have a powerful experience himself. And he started thinking, we all have challenges that we didn't ask for. And if we had been asked, we would say no. And that's why God doesn't ask us, because every challenge we face, even big, maybe especially big challenges, are an opportunity for us to reach a higher level of goodness than we could achieve if we weren't faced with these challenges. And he felt this enormous gratitude, not just for the blessings in his life, but for the challenges, which are blessings as well, because they're an opportunity to do good and to reach a higher level of spiritual fulfillment. So something about that story really touched me, and I just wanted to share it on the L'Chaim show.
Wow. Yashikar. That was an amazing story.
Oh, thank you.